Mr. Clee. Is that how you pronounce it?
Yes, good please.
Now, my name is Bethany Schneider, but I'm going to have some few questions about some things that you discussed with Ms. Harrison. It seems like we're only going to go for about 10 minutes or so, but we have your depositions here if you need to refer to it, okay?
Okay, fine.
One issue in this case, Mr. Clee, is what information was available to or known by your father about the news. So I want to ask you a couple questions about how and where your father got information about what was happening in the world, okay?
Yes.
You discussed that your father was not able to read or write, correct?
Correct.
But when you were growing up, your mother could read and write.
Yes.
And she would help your father with reading and writing whenever she could.
Yes.
Despite your father's lack of formal education, you believed your father was fairly intelligent, right? Even though your father did not read newspapers and magazines and things like that, he liked watching television, right?
Yes.
Your father was able to stay informed of what was happening in the world through TV, right?
Yes.
Even if he couldn't read the newspaper, your father kept up with the current events by watching the television news, right?
When he could, yes.
And he would get his news primarily from television news, right?
Mostly.
Your father watched the news in the morning.
No. No, we never watched television in the morning when he went to work.
Or when he would watch TV in the morning, he would watch maybe the news or whatever else was on, right?
No. We never watched news
No.
in the morning.
Objections overruled.
Well, maybe we'll come back to that
Okay.
tomorrow, okay? He also watched the nightly news, right?
When it was on, yes. It depends on what time he came home.
But when he came home early enough to watch the nightly news, he did watch the nightly
Yes.
news.
If the news was on, you'll watch it.
All right. And when it came to being informed or being aware of current events, your father was certainly aware of the big news events of the day, correct?
The bigger one, yes.
Things that would be considered, quote, big news, right?
Yes.
Not only did your father learn about current events from TV, but he would also have conversations with his brother, your Uncle Guy, about current events when they got together, right?
No.
Do you know if your father and your Uncle Guy had conversations about current events?
No, they were talking mostly about the business and stuff like that. No, they never discussed or anything.
Okay. Well, then you remember the deposition in this case,
Yes.
right? And your deposition was on 2 separate occasions, correct?
Yes.
The first was on May 27th of this year,
Okay.
and the second was on August 27th of this year. Is that right?
Yes.
And you had your deposition taken in downtown West Palm, right?
That's right. Yes.
You had a court order there, correct?
Correct.
And you were under oath,
Correct.
just like you're under today,
Correct.
to tell the truth.
Exactly.
And if you were asked whether you were taking any medications at your deposition,
Yes, for my condition, yes. No, I wasn't at that time.
so there were no medications or health conditions that were affecting your memory, right?
I had help, but not, I didn't take any drugs or, but antibiotics.
Right. Your health condition doesn't affect your memory,
No,
right?
no.
Ms. Schneider, give Ms.
You're going to page 289, lines 9 through 13. Remember me on approach?
Yes, of course. Thank you.
We'll have to see it. What is it? Oh, yeah, this is the one.
Oh, I don't know. See if you can see it.
Yeah, page, what is it?
289.
Ms. Dupuy, do you need reading glasses or anything?
I have them,
You have,
yeah.
okay.
This is big enough, yes.
Okay, are you sure?
Yes,
All right.
that's good.
So just let me know when you get there.
Okay, yes, I'm there.
Sure, of course.
Morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, Mr. Clee. Now I want to start by asking you a little bit about your father's smoking. Your father never told you why he started smoking or what led him to first try smoking, correct?
Correct.
You told the jury you remember your father smoking throughout his life, and you told the jury that your father smoked Cools and Parliaments. You don't remember the time frames for Cools or Parliaments. You just remember that those were the two brands he used to smoke, right?
Correct.
You don't know why your father chose to smoke Cools or Parliaments.
Correct.
In your opinion, that was his choice, right?
Correct.
You don't remember anything your father ever said about Cool or Parliament. That's correct?
Correct.
All right. Now, you did tell the jury that you, ma'am, have never smoked, right?
Well, I tried it once when I was young, but that was it.
Well, in your words, you've never even experimented with smoking, right?
No, I really never smoked.
Okay. So you talked about the candy cigarettes and seeing advertisements for smoking, but those things never caused you to become a smoker, right?
I didn't like to smoke, no.
Okay. You never smoked, as you just said, because you didn't like the smell of smoke, right?
I didn't like the smoke period.
When you were 13 or 14, you began noticing that your clothes would smell like smoke from your father's smoking, right?
Correct.
And that would have been around 1961 or 1962.
Probably, yes.
At school, people would tell you that you smelled like smoke.
Well, I smelled it on my clothes. They wouldn't say anything because they were all smoking themselves. But I smelled it.
When you'd go to school, people would tell you you smell like smoke, right?
No, I said I smelled like smoke.
All right. We'll have your deposition.
Sure. I think. Do you still have that? I have volume 2. I need volume 1 still. What's the page on?
It is 46:7 through 46:17.
Thank you, Schneider.
46. Yes, and then I'll tell you lines. That starts at 7. Just let me know when you get there.
Yes.
Oh, no. Okay.
All right.
All right, you there, ma'am?
Yes.
So in your deposition, you were asked the following questions and gave the following answers. Question: when you say you never liked the smell of smoke, how far back does that go? Answer: well, when I was little, it was just part of, that you saw my dad, he was smoking. As I got older, it was my clothes would smell of smoke, and I'd go to school and they'd say to me, you smell like smoke. So, question: so when you say, what was this time frame? How old would you have been at this time? Answer: oh, I must have been in my teens, 13 or 14. Did I read that correctly?
Yes.
You did not like your clothes smelling like smoke, right?
Correct.
And you would tell your parents all the time that you didn't like the smell of smoke and that you didn't like your clothes smelling like smoke.
I started when I was in high school saying I didn't like my clothes smelling.
Right, around this time, 1961 or 1962, you would tell your mother and father all the time that you did not like the smell of smoke or your clothes smelling like smoke, right?
Correct.
Around the same time, 1961, 1962, you also would tell your father you're addicted to cigarettes, correct?
Yes.
And your father would respond back that he knew he was addicted to cigarettes, right?
I believe he said it. I can't remember exactly.
Okay, but you remember him using the term addiction in 1961 or 1962, correct?
I know. I always told him he was addicted. That's what I remember so long ago.
And you also remember your father using the term addiction once or twice, right?
I think so. I can't be positive. I use it all the time, so I assuming maybe he said, I really don't know.
Okay, let's turn to page 48. 48 lines, starting at line 22, Ms. Harrison. In your deposition, you were asked the following question and gave the following answer. Question. So, and let's just be clear, when you started complaining to your parents about your father smoking and the smokiness of your clothes, and he would tell you that he had tried to quit smoking, he actually would use the term addiction. Answer. Not all the time, but he said it once or twice. Sure, I told him. Did I read that correctly?
Yes.
Ma'am, you can set that down if you'd like.
How are you doing?
Yes. All right. Now, yesterday, I believe you told the jury that your mom and dad would take you and your sisters to church, right?
Correct.
And that your father would have to go out several times to smoke during the church service.
Correct.
But isn't it true, ma'am, that your father never went to church?
No.
All right, let's go to the first volume of your deposition.
Okay.
169, starting at line 24, going to 175.
Okay, 169.
The bottom of the page there.
All right.
Are you there?
Yes.
In your deposition, you were asked the following questions and gave the following answers. Question. And did your father ever come with you to church? Answer. No. Question. How about growing up? Did you go with your parents and your sister to church? Answer. Me and my sisters went, but my dad never went. Did I read that correctly?
Yes, but that's not true what I said. I didn't mean that he went every Sunday, but when we had like a Holy Communion, Easter, he would be with us.
Okay, but I did read your deposition correctly. Okay. Now, there was never a time that you and your sisters gave your father cigarettes for the holidays, right?
Not that I recall.
You don't ever recall giving your father a carton of cigarettes for a birthday present or a Christmas present, right?
I don't recall that.
You talked a little bit about how you complained to your father about the smoke. But you weren't the only one complaining, right? Your mother also complained.
Correct.
Your mother used to get aggravated with your father about his smoking.
Correct.
They would not get in fights, but according to you, she was, quote, always aggravated with your father smoking, right?
No, not always, no. Occasionally, she would be, things were turning yellow from the smoke, and she would tell him, but not all the time.
Okay, well, let's go to the first volume of your deposition. Page 102, line 19. Oh.
I'm sorry.
Maybe putting it up. Can you reach it here?
Yeah, okay, that's all right. All right. What line is it?
19, going to 103.4. You there?
Yes.
All right. In your deposition, you were asked the following question and gave the following answer. Question. Did your parents ever get into any arguments or fights? Answer. Not really fights. My mother used to get aggravated because she said, this house smells of smoke. It's full of smoke. You're always smoking. That was her thing. That everything was turning yellow from the nicotine. The ceilings, she used to say, stop, the house is a smoke factory. That basically was what she was always aggravated about, with the smoking. Did I read that correctly?
Yes, but it wasn't constant. When she got fed up that, with the smoke, she tell them, and that's it.
Okay, but I read that correctly, right?
Yes.
All right. Now, your sister Donna is a smoker.
Correct.
And she started smoking while you all lived at home with your parents, right?
Correct.
Okay. And when your sister Donna started smoking, she did not tell your parents she was smoking, did she?
I don't recall.
Objection.
I really don't remember.
Okay, let's go to your deposition. Line 108, page 108, line 3 through 5. You there?
Yes.
In your deposition, you were asked the following question and gave the following answer. Question: did she tell your parents that she was smoking? Answer: no. Did I read that correctly?
Yes.
She tried to hide the fact that she was smoking from your parents.
Yes.
For completeness, can we read lines, same page, 6 through 8 as well?
Sure.
Start at line 6.
Of course.
Sure, that was my next question. Question: did she try to avoid letting your parents know that she was smoking? Answer: yeah, I think she did. Question: she tried to hide it from your parents? Answer: yeah. Did I read that correctly?
Correct.
All right, Ms. Dupuy, let's talk about information you received about the dangers of smoking and conveyed to your father.
Okay, that's fine. What's his name? That's fine.
You've heard of the Surgeon General of the United States, correct?
Correct.
You know the Surgeon General from a TV ad about the warning on the side of cigarette packs, right?
Why? So I vaguely one time, bro.
You remember a public service announcement that mentioned the Surgeon General and that cigarette smoking can be harmful to your health, right?
Vaguely.
The public service announcement caught your attention because it said the Surgeon General's report, right?
It didn't get my attention. I just saw it vaguely.
Okay, let's
I
go.
didn't even remember it.
Okay, let's go to your deposition. The second volume, if I may approach, Your Honor.
Yes.
This one?
Yeah.
What page?
308, line 21 through 309, line 3.
Okay, but now what? Which one?
308,
Yes.
line 21 through 309, 3. You there?
Yes.
In your deposition, you were asked the following question and gave the following answer. Question: let me ask you, what is it today, as we're talking, that brings to mind remembering that particular public service announcement with that particular warning? Answer: I remember because it said the Surgeon General's report, so that's what caught my attention. Did I read that correctly?
Correct.
In fact, you remember a number of ads with a box saying, quote, cigarette smoking can be harmful to your health. Correct?
No.
Okay, let's go to 269, line 7 through 269, line 17.
Okay, 269. Where are we?
It's line 7
Okay.
through 269, 17. Question: and you're telling me, just so I'm clear, that you had never heard that smoking was bad for your health prior to your father's diagnosis with lung cancer? Answer: the only thing I do remember is some ads with a box saying cigarette smoking can be harmful to your health. That's all I remember ever seeing on the TV about it. I didn't smoke, so it didn't, it just went in one ear and out the other. Did I read that correctly?
Yeah, that's the one I saw on the TV that one time.
Okay, but did I read that correctly?
Yes.
Okay.
Your Honor, could you read the following of 18 through 20?
Sure.
Question: but your father smoked, right? Answer: but I didn't remember that. I just saw it once. Did I read that correctly?
Yes.
Okay.
That's all one.
At some point, you raised with your father a concern about his health based on his smoking, correct?
When I found out he had lung cancer, yes.
When you realized that smoking could be hazardous to your health, you told him, you gotta stop smoking, right?
When we found out that lung cancer was caused by the smoking death, of course.
Okay, well, that's not exactly my question. My question is, when you realized that smoking could be hazardous to your health, you told him you got to stop smoking.
After I found out he had the lung cancer, yes.
How old were you when your father found out he had lung cancer?
I was in my early 40s.
Okay. And so it's your testimony that is the first time you realized smoking could be hazardous to your health.
Yes.
But isn't it true, ma'am, that when you saw the ad on TV saying smoking may be hazardous to your health, that's the first time you realized that smoking was harmful to your health?
I didn't even remember, what the ad said. I vaguely remember it. It didn't faze me.
Okay.
I hardly remember saying it. I remember he had a funny name, something like Coop. I would think that chicken Coop does. That's how we remember him.
Okay.
I remember that ad.
All right. But the first time you remember realizing that smoking was dangerous was when you saw an ad saying smoking may be hazardous to your health, right?
I vaguely remember something like that.
You had no reason to think that your father didn't believe smoking was harmful to his health, right?
Correct.
And when you told your father you need to stop smoking because it's not good for you, it's not good for your health, he never disputed you,
I
right?
never said that to him until I found out he had the lung cancer. I never told him anything like that. It was always about the smoke, the smell, and I never really knew anything other than that.
Okay. But ma'am, you did at some point in time tell your father you need to stop smoking because it's not good for you, it's not good for your health, and your father never disputed you on that.
I told him that after he had the lung cancer, yes.
And I appreciate that, ma'am, but that's not my question. My
What are
question,
you saying? I don't understand.
sure, I'll definitely help you by clarifying it. When you did say to him, you need to stop smoking because it's not good for you, it's not good for your health, he never said, that's not true, I don't believe it's harmful to my health, right?
I don't remember ever saying that to him before he had the lung cancer. So I don't know what you're trying to say. How could he dispute when I never said it to him until he would say that?
Okay,
I don't understand the question.
sure, well, let's go to your deposition.
All right.
Page 173, which I believe is in the first volume.
All right.
173, lines 17 through 21.
Okay. All right.
You got it?
Yeah.
Okay. Question, but he didn't. When you got it?
Yeah.
Question,
Okay.
but he didn't when you told him you need to stop smoking because it's not good for you, it's not good for your health. He didn't say, that's not true, I don't believe it's harmful to my health. Answer, no, I don't remember anything like that. Did I read that correctly?
Yes, that's what I said. I never said that to him about the health. I told him about the smoking.
Okay, did I read that correctly, ma'am?
Yes.
Later on, before your father was diagnosed with lung cancer, your father had family and friends who became sick or died because of smoking-related diseases, right?
Would you repeat that?
Sure. Before your father was diagnosed with lung cancer, your father had family and friends who had become sick or died of smoking-related diseases, right?
I don't recall that.
Well, your Uncle Guy, he was a smoker, right?
Correct.
And he was diagnosed with bladder cancer.
That's all I know about it.
And your Uncle Guy believed his cancer was caused by smoking, right?
I never told him. He never told me anything like that. I thought it was just bladder cancer.
Okay.
Sit over, you can answer this
The doctors told your Uncle Guy that he had bladder cancer from smoking, right?
I wouldn't know.
Okay, well, let's go to your deposition.
All right.
It's the first volume, page 113, 8 through 18.
Okay, yeah, 113,
Yes. You there, ma'am?
yes.
Question. How about your other family members on your father's side?
What question is that?
Oh, I'm sorry. 113, line 8.
Okay,
Got it?
yes.
Okay. Question. How about your other family members on your father's side? So, for example, Uncle Guy. Did he have any medical conditions? Answer. Yes. He had bladder cancer. They said that was from smoking, and I can't remember. The main thing was the bladder cancer. I remember he got that. Question. You said, quote, they told him. Answer. The doctors. Question. The doctors told him he had bladder cancer from smoking. Answer. Yeah. Did I read that correctly?
Correct.
Your father also had a friend named Kenny who died.
But I'd like to correct that. When I didn't hear the doctor say that, that's when my sister Donna, later on, when she was filling out a form, he told Donna that because he wanted to be on the, put him on it, and Donna said, well, you can't, because, you know, it's just for lung cancer, it's not bladder cancer. And I believe that that's when he told her that the doctor told him that his bladder cancer was from smoking. But that was, you know, in way after my dad had passed. That was, he wanted to be on that.
Okay.
So I didn't really hear any doctor. My sister, he told my sister that. That's why I said that. I didn't know.
Okay, but I did read your deposition testimony correctly.
I just wanted to clarify that I thought he just had bladder cancer until he explained to Donna that's what his doctor told him.
Right, and his doctors told him that
But
when
that
he.
was,
I'm sorry.
that's not anything that I knew when he first got sick. I thought he just had bladder cancer.
Okay. Well, can you let me finish my question? That's okay. That's okay. Just my question is,
Yeah.
regardless of what you knew and when you knew it,
Mhm.
your Uncle Guy said that his doctors told him when he was diagnosed with bladder cancer that it was caused by smoking, right?
Yes, but you gotta put in the right time frame because I did not know it was caused from
Okay.
smoking when he first got it.
Right, and that wasn't my question.
So I just wanted, you know, to make sure that you understand that I didn't know that.
Okay, well, I think everybody does understand that now.
I understand what you want me to say.
That's okay, sustain.
Ma'am, my question was, your Uncle Guy's doctors, at the time he was diagnosed with bladder cancer,
I don't know what they said at the time.
I'll go ahead and, I'll sustain to ask an answer, that's fine.
well, Your Honor, I'm just clarifying after her.
I think it's clear from the jury, we can go.
Your father also had a friend named Kenny who died from emphysema, right?
Correct.
Kenny died from emphysema shortly after coming to Florida to visit your father.
I really don't know anything about it. I just know he came and he had emphysema, yes.
You just know he came to Florida
And he came to visit my dad.
to visit your dad. He had emphysema at the time, and after that, he died.
But when he went back home, I don't really know how long it was. I
Okay.
didn't really know Kenny was just a passing friend. I can't really talk about him. I didn't know him that.
Okay. Well, ma'am, if you listen to my question is, your father's friend Kenny came to visit your father in Florida. He had emphysema, and then he died after he went back home at some point in time. Is that correct?
At some point, I don't know when.
Okay. So let's talk about your father's health. After your parents moved to Florida in 1978, your father's regular doctor was Dr. Callan, right?
Correct.
And your mother started seeing him later on as well, right?
Correct.
Around 1987, your grandfather, Guy Cavalier, died of congestive heart failure, right?
Correct.
2 years later, in 1989, your father was diagnosed with lung cancer, right?
Correct.
And after he had surgery for his lung cancer, your father cut down on the amount he smoked, right?
Correct.
You think he might have had a cigarette or two after his surgery, right?
Yes.
Let's turn now to the claim in this case. You understand that your sister is claiming that your father died from coronary artery disease caused by smoking, right?
Yes.
As of May of this year, your understanding of what caused your father's death was lung cancer, right?
Well, that's what he died of when he had surgery with lung cancer. I think he died of congestive heart failure from breathing.
When he passed away, your understanding, even as of May of this year, was that lung cancer caused his death.
Lung cancer was a part of it, but the congestive heart failure caused his death. He couldn't breathe.
Okay, let's go to your deposition. The first volume, page 32, lines 6 through 9.
Page 32.
Yes.
Okay. What line?
Line 6.
All right.
Question, and when he passed away, what is your understanding of what caused his death? Answer, the lung cancer. Did I read that correctly?
Yeah, correct.
And as of May of this year, other than lung cancer, you did not know of any other conditions your father received medical treatment for that were related to his smoking, right?
The only thing that I remember is why I think it's lung cancer, because that's what initially made him ill, and then after he got this congestive heart failure, couldn't breathe, and that's what eventually killed him. But the lung cancer is the thing that started, because he declined.
Okay, so focusing on my question, as of May of this year, other than lung cancer, you were not aware of any other conditions your father had that were related to smoking.
I was aware of the congestive heart failure because he couldn't breathe when he at the hospital. He could not breathe.
Okay. All right, let's go to your deposition. It's the same page, 32, page 32, 21 through 24. Question, do you know if your father ever received any medical treatment for any other conditions that would have been related to cigarette smoking? Answer, not that I know of. Did I read that correctly?
Yes, because I never took him to the doctor. My sister Donna always did, so I really wouldn't know any of the medical treatment except for, the lung cancer treatment. And I didn't go to the doctor.
Okay, so I read that correctly, right?
Yes.
And you, because you didn't go to doctors, you didn't know anything about his medical condition other than the treatment for the lung cancer, I think is what you just said.
Yeah, I knew that, but like I said, the lung cancer started it, and then from there, he couldn't breathe. So that's, at the end, that's what happened. He just couldn't breathe, and that's what I remember. It was, the lung cancer came first, and then all the other stuff came after.
You're just trying to sustain. Switching topics, I'll represent to you that the jury has heard about a number of different tobacco industry organizations.
Sustain.
I want to ask
Sustain.
I want to ask you a few questions about some different tobacco industry organizations and whether your father had ever heard anything from those organizations, okay?
Yes.
As of August, you had never heard of something called the Tobacco Industry Research Committee, or TIRC.
Me? No.
You don't know if your father ever heard or saw anything from TIRC.
I wouldn't know.
You're not familiar with an organization called Council for Tobacco Research, or CTR, are you?
No.
And you don't know if your father ever saw a statement from CTR.
I don't know.
You've never heard of the Tobacco Institute, or TI.
father never mentioned any information that he had seen or received from the Tobacco Institute. Likewise, your father never mentioned to you any information he had ever received.
No, you're fine, Mr. Quick. No, you're fine. No, you're okay. No, Mr. Quick, yeah, do you mind? Thank you, Matt. Thank you. You're okay. No, you're fine. No, Mr. Quick.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna keep it.
That's okay. Do you need a break? Are you okay?
Okay.
Got it?
Yes, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Okay.
All right, you ready to proceed?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Your father never mentioned to you any information he had ever received from any tobacco company, including R.J. Reynolds.
Yeah.
There's been some discussion about cigarette advertising, and I think we talked about,
Sustain, yeah. Just move to the question now.
I think you talked about on your direct, about cigarette advertising, right?
Correct.
But to your knowledge, your father never mentioned any advertisement for cigarettes that caused him to start smoking, right?
He used to like the Marlboro Man and stuff like that.
But based on the conversations you had with your father, he never mentioned to you any advertisement that caused him to start smoking, right?
No, I didn't have a conversation like that with him.
Okay. Similarly, your father never mentioned to you any advertisement for cigarettes that caused him to continue to smoke instead of quitting.
Well, like I said, he used to, like the Marlboro Man, and I guess that was, glamorous back then, and everybody was smoking, and that's all I remember, was all those advertisements.
Okay. You just write the non-responsive.
Sustain.
Your father never mentioned to you any advertisement for cigarettes that caused him to continue to smoke instead of quit, right?
He just like the Marlboro Man, that's all I can remember.
Okay. And he never said the Marlboro Man made him choose to smoke any type of cigarette.
I don't know, I don't remember, it was so long ago.
Okay. And you don't remember your father saying that the Marlboro Man cigarette advertisement caused him to continue to smoke instead of quit.
Well, I think he admired the Marlboro Man, so it might have influenced him. I don't know.
Okay, well, let's go to your deposition. The second volume, 282, line 7 through 13.
Okay, I'm here. 282, what's the line?
7 through 13. Question. Based on knowing your father and the conversations with your father over the years, did he ever mention to you any advertisement for cigarettes that ever caused him to start smoking or continue smoking? Answer, no. Did I read that correctly?
Correct.
You're not aware of your father ever hearing any verbal statement about smoking and health made by any tobacco company or its representatives.
Did we hear anything like that? Did you say?
Right, you're not aware of your father ever hearing any statement about smoking and health made by a tobacco company or one of its representatives.
No.
You understand that your sister, Donna, is bringing claims on behalf of your mother and Cavalier in this lawsuit.
Correct.
You, personally, have never had a discussion with your mother about bringing a lawsuit against the tobacco companies, correct?
No. That's not correct.
Okay, let's go to your deposition,
Okay.
the first volume.
It's Ms. Harrison's witness, so that's fine. So I'm going to overrule as to relevance.
What name?
31, line 12 through 15.
Okay. All right.
Question, did you ever have a discussion with your mother about her bringing a lawsuit against tobacco companies? Answer, no. Did I read that correctly?
Yes, that's not what I meant.
Did I read that correctly?
Yes.
Okay. To the
best of your knowledge, your sister Donna took it upon her own initiative to make the claim on behalf of your mother, correct?
No.
Let's go to your deposition, the second volume,
All right.
217. I think that's the first volume, man. Maybe the other one.
Sure.
Your Honor. So I think you were going to page 217, the second volume,
Yes.
lines 22 through page 218, line 1. There?
Yes.
Question. But to the best of your knowledge, Donna took it upon her own initiative to make the claim and to also discuss it with your Uncle Guy. Answer? Yes. Did I read that correctly?
Yes, but that's not what happened. My mother saw the ad because she lives with Donna, and she told Donna about it, and then Donna called it in and everything, and then when the forms came, Donna and my mother went to my Uncle Guy's house to fill them out.
Your Honor, we get this right because I'm responsive after yes.
Overruled.
But I read your deposition testimony correctly where you answered the question, no.
Yeah, but I want to tell you that, how it happened.
All right. So you're just changing your testimony today.
I'm not.
Okay, okay. Objections sustained, that's fine.
You don't know if your sister,
I sustained it, yes.
you don't know if your sister Donna ever discussed the claim with your mother at the time she filed or not, right?
I know that she did. She told me.
Okay, well, let's go to your deposition.
All right.
218, line 2, and 218, line 10.
All right.
Question. And to your knowledge, Donna did not discuss it with your mother at that time. Answer. I don't know that. I wasn't there. Question. You just don't know one way or the other. Answer. Right. I can't answer that. No. Did I read that correctly?
Correct. I wasn't there when they saw the ad, but after Donna and my mother told me.
But as of your deposition,
No, I wasn't there. You're right.
okay, and I read that correctly.
Yes.
All right, last topic, ma'am. You told the jury that your father wanted to quit smoking. But your father never specifically told you that he did not like smoking, right?
He never said he liked smoking. He said he only wanted it because he couldn't do it.
Okay, my question is different, ma'am. My question is, your father never specifically told you that he did not like smoking, correct?
He did not like smoking. He didn't.
Right, he never told you that though, correct?
He always said he didn't like smoking. It was expensive and it was just something he couldn't break. I mean, like I said, I grew up with him smoking constantly.
Okay, well, let's go to your deposition, ma'am. 329,
First one,
the
second.
second volume, 329, 8 through 10.
Okay, got it, yeah.
All right.
A
Yes, I will.
Okay, thank you. Alright. Going back to line 8. Question. He never specifically told you he did not like smoking. Answer. I don't remember that. Did I read that correctly?
Correct.
Even after he was diagnosed with lung cancer, in the 4 years following, you don't remember your father ever telling you he regretted smoking, correct?
I don't recall.
At no time did your father ever tell you why he smoked, correct?
I don't recall.
Thank you, that's all the questions I have.
All right, thank you. For your right this way? Thank you, Mr. Gary.
May it please the court?
Yes, thank you.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Just a couple questions. Thank you. That's been difficult, but we appreciate it. How many days was your deposition?
I did one and one.
So 2 separate days?
Yeah.
Okay. And your deposition was taken, let's see, this lawsuit that we're here about was filed in January of 2008.
Objection, lead.
Are you aware of was filed in January 2008?
Yes.
And your deposition was what year?
This year, wasn't it?
Right, so
Yeah, so,
you okay?
2015, right? That was
Right.
just my deposition?
Yes. Are you okay? Do you need a minute?
No,
All right,
I'm
okay. So we're talking 7 years after
Yeah.
this lawsuit was filed.
Yeah.
Now, you